don't use this.
Okay.
Okay.
Jordan, what's something that you like?
Whoa.
I wanna warm up first.
That's something I like.
This is that like artificial, like chemically sweet that I only ever experience while taking communion.
Yep.
Why would I ever drink something so disgusting unless I'm being forced to?
It's like Ocean brand cran grape juice.
Yep.
Mm.
Or Ocean Wave, that brand.
You can really taste the ocean.
I like the ocean.
I like the ocean too.
Okay.
Yeah. Sand, everything. I like it. It's a good environment, in my opinion.
Is it tilted a little bit?
No, I
You
think
think
it's fine.
anyone will notice?
No.
I will, while I'm editing.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Look at you, big time editor over here.
Alright.
Oh, I need to hold it.
Yeah.
Alright.
Ready?
Yeah.
Good? We good?
Go ahead.
Jordan, what do you hate?
I hate how soccer players flop. I hate flopping players and what's it called? Embezzlement. That's something else. What's that term where?
I too hate embezzlement. Yeah, I mean you can hate embezzlement.
That's something different though. That's a different conversation. What's that term where people exaggerate their injuries? There's a term for that.
Exaggeration.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Flopping.
Yeah. I hate the fact that
Poppy's still out here. It was an accident. I meant to put her in.
I don't like that soccer players flop and how that's actually part of the sport. People actually use that as strategy, and all teams actually use that as strategy, either to save time or to actually give a player a red card where they didn't.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah, I hate it. Scott, what do you hate?
Can I go last? You know what? No.
Okay.
No, you
I'm going
can't. This
second.
is our podcast.
I hate myself on this podcast.
All right. Explain.
Yeah, I'm gonna explain. I watched every episode. I was taking notes as we were going, just being like, "Oh, I'll address this," because you immediately were like, "Hey, I want you on this podcast."
Mm-hmm.
And anytime that I've been brought up, it's been like, "Oh, who do you like aspire to be like?" And they're like, "We all want to be like our true father, Scott." And I'm like, "Okay, if I didn't know me,
Okay.
and you're like, we're gonna get this guy out here," I would be like, if I was writing this as a story, like as a storyteller, I'd be like, this person has got to be the villain of the story.
Yeah.
And if I didn't know me and I knew you guys, watching unconsciously, I'd be like, I'm putting together a list of everything that I don't like about Jordan and Noah,
Okay.
and I'm hoping to find it in this guy so I can turn him into the person that I don't like.
Okay.
And then this narrative of him being this good person can be undermined by him actually being the bad person. That's how I would write it.
Okay.
And so that's what I'm expecting. So now I'm kind of put in the position if I could be a great villain for the narrative of the podcast.
But here's the thing: we actually planned that since the beginning.
Fortunately, yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of been like, I need to either come in as the perfect hero, which is the least likable person to know,
True.
or a good villain that can give you enough of a push-off point to like give you direction, and you're not like at the beginning of the story, you're kind of like floating with nothing to stand on. It's like you need opposition. I now need to be like, am I going to be opposition or am I going to be a hero figure? But I am not allowed to be anything other than those two things. And it's a hard position to be put in, and I don't
That's
like
true.
it. I'm glad that only 14 people are watching.
Actually,
Yeah.
we're at 20 now.
Oh,
We're
gosh.
at 21
Which
subscribers.
is 12
but here's
that
the
didn't
thing.
know me before this.
Fortunately,
Can you spike the camera?
what?
Are you supposed to spike the camera? Like
Yeah.
look into it?
You can do whatever you want.
I'm sorry for the
we look-
position that you've been put in now as a watcher.
Yeah, we look and talk to the camera a lot.
Because now this is by the way only playing into me being a villain more, acknowledging the position
That
I'm
you
in,
Breaking
could be
the
a
fourth
villain.
wall, really.
and sure,
We're talking about the story that you're currently in.
okay,
Fortunately, 21
Which is
only
fine.
20 to 21 people watch this, and half of
and,
them have already
and 12
stopped.
of them are just Kinsey.
half of them have already stopped watching.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We have an average view duration of like 7 minutes.
No, it's 17 now.
Is it 17?
Yeah.
Never mind. Most
So we
people
really
are
only
still
have to try
watching.
for the first 17 minutes, and then
And then after that, you're fine.
we're golden.
All right, what do you hate, Noah?
I forgot what I had.
I also hate that I was supposed to bring coffee that I roasted and make coffee for you guys.
I
But
was
for
bummed
some
out.
all
reason,
overnight.
I needed to make 3 batches for people at after 7 at night. Everyone wanted to drink 3
was-
batches of coffee.
It was really good though.
And
was
yeah,
good.
I like how that
Yeah.
batch turned
It
out.
was
yeah.
good.
It was very good. The
Yeah.
first time I've ever tried it.
Yeah, same. It was real good.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
didn't we have some when you were in Orcas?
Yes, you can
Yes.
try it there.
I don't remember that.
Well,
Anyway, I hate I'm gonna make mine simple because of how long that went on. Not that we have time limits or anything, but I hate cloudy days at the beach. When I go to the beach and it's cloudy, it's annoying.
Kind of ruins the day.
Yeah. What's the point? What's the point of going to the beach when it's all cloudy?
It's terrible. I hate that you gave me that. It's less efficient than like a gerbil dripper.
So
Yeah.
when we started this podcast, my parents had 4 wine glasses. Now they have 2. Neither of us have broken one. Since we started, my parents have broken 2 wine glasses, and they have had those wine glasses like since they got married. For the last 24 years.
Yeah.
And in the last 2 months, they've broken 2 of them.
You think it's like Noah's using wine glasses, maybe we should start using them for ourselves now.
No.
Good
But
one.
they still use wine glasses.
Okay.
On a regular-ish basis. I mean, they use them enough where they should have broken them before now.
We decided to give you the best one. just
Yeah,
'cause
we
you're
gave
a
you the
guest
best
and
one.
stuff, so.
It's unbreakable. Well,
I've been
no, it just
brewing my
Pyrex just
coffee.
means it'll break cleanly.
I've been doing a pour over into a smaller version of one of these since 2012.
So you're used to drinking out of that.
So
Well, no, I
used to
poured
it.
it into a
That's what
cup.
you're-
I'm not a
that's what you're
monster.
saying.
Oh, I would drink it out of that.
Well,
You live alone. What? There are no rules.
No rules.
yeah. Tell a lot of people that I don't know things about me. Now they know I live alone. I need a roommate
There you go.
to upset the narrative now.
There you go.
Yeah. You live in a.
Well, welcome to
Don't
the...
tell them where I live.
I wasn't gonna say where you live. I was gonna say you live in a.
You didn't know
small
where I
enough
live.
apartment.
When you introduced me as a character on the podcast, you threatened to tell them where I live, and you had no idea where I live.
Yeah,
I hadn't lived in the place
that
that,
was
you
a
know
joke.
Is that
for
true?
like a year.
Yeah, we
I don't remember
said
that.
we said he lives blank, but we didn't actually know where he lived.
I don't remember that. That's funny, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't live there anymore, so
So you're welcome.
yeah. Scott.
Oh boy.
Oh, no.
Oh man.
Well,
That's a good lead-in for what's happening later.
Who are you?
Who
what
I?
are you doing?
What's the point of this podcast? Like, what you started it because you wanted to talk about movies and
We
then
started it-
to general content.
Yeah.
We just talk about whatever comes up. Usually, sometimes we have some stuff written down, but usually we don't.
Yeah. The reason why we started it is because we usually talk in for a very long period of time. So we thought maybe other people would like to hear what we talk about because it's miscellaneous, really.
Yeah, it's whatever
Okay.
we want.
Yeah,
And-
it's
So it's like follow your interests in the moment.
Yeah.
and
All right, the
then we
context of that, then.
it's a conversation. We
Yeah.
talk about whatever comes up.
Mm-hmm.
And usually, so far, what it's turned into is with the guests, it's more of like a jokey episode and whatever, and it's funny and there are stories and stuff. And then when it's just me and Jordan, it's more not serious, but we just talk about like news and stuff, and it's less. I don't know. It's turned into more of a news and stuff, and then a jokey podcast.
Okay. So in the context of what you've talked about so far, the who I am is like the what things I'm interested in. So we'll go, my favorite TV shows are Community and Arrested Development. My favorite books are The Man Who Was Thursday a Nightmare by G.K. Chesterton and East of Eden by Steinbeck.
I need to read.
East of Eden is crazy good.
Yeah.
That's what you've told me.
It is unbelievable, yeah.
That's what everyone has said.
I've congested one of the two parts of your favorites in each one. So I've done Community and I've done East of Eden.
And
But
it's left you congested.
Yeah.
That's what you said. You said
Yeah, I'm
congested.
full now.
Oh, wait, that's
Okay.
not what that
Wait,
means.
I meant
What did you mean the first time?
congested. What did I
You
said?
said
congested.
congested,
Did you mean
as in
in-
like,
did you mean
you are
in-
now backed up with this content.
Do you mean like
It's hard to breathe these
Do
days.
you mean ingested or like
Ingested,
or
yeah.
like
I feel a little like if you interact with something as art and internalize it, there's a type of congestion.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I'll dig this hole with you.
Thank you.
I'll bury myself in your word choice.
Oh, welcome to We Hate Things episode 12.
This is Scott, our former youth pastor.
I'll say
We didn't
that.
actually intro
He
the
was
video.
a youth pastor 3 years ago, but now he's our former youth pastor.
That's my.
Yeah, we didn't intro the video.
I was
Last
never
episode,
a pastor though.
Nope.
Last episode I said 12. This is actually 12. I said 12 in the last
That's
one.
true.
That was 11. This is 12.
Yeah.
The next one will be 13, which we're recording an hour from now. So we get to talk for 2 hours today. Anyway, that's where we're at. Your favorite? You already said your favorite books and stuff.
Books, TV.
Yeah.
Movie's a harder one for me to
Movie
like
a harder one.
nail
It's
down.
Too many.
It's
I don't.
hard for me
I don't
too.
like the kind of people who like the movies that I like, which is a bummer. Because I was gonna say Good Will Hunting. It's like, well,
I like.
I
Good Will
love
Hunting.
Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
It's
that's one
really
of
one
my
of my
that's one of my
favorites.
top 10 movies, to be honest.
Yeah, it's great.
But
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
yeah, it's a tough one.
It's yeah.
Fight Club. No one wants to be the guy who
No
likes
one
Fight
wants to
Club
be
at
the
a
guy
party.
who likes Fight Club. That's like
Yeah.
being the guy that walks in and talks about the Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't bring it up unless it's being recorded to be immortalized, in which case I'll be like,
Which is now.
I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
Immortalized for all of
I'm
the
leaning
tens
into
of
being a
people.
villain.
I mean, that's why I
fine.
don't talk about Rick and Morty anymore, because I hate
Same.
the people that
I-
watch Rick and Morty.
It's a decent show, but the community around it, awful.
Yeah.
Terrible.
It's I'd rather not.
But also the community around the community who likes it, who is like, who prefaces it that way, which like,
that itself is a community.
yeah, writers do that on the show. Like I follow a podcast with one of the writers on Rick and Morty,
Yeah.
and they do that about their own show, which is like, well, that's so established now.
Yeah, that's like a thing.
Siobhan Thompson, who plays a PC in a series of D&D mini campaigns on Dimension 20, which is one of my favorite
Dimension.
pieces of content on the internet. Yeah,
Okay,
it's great. It's on YouTube. It's fantastic.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I play D&D. That's another thing
Yeah,
about me.
We've talked a little about that. We told them you were a DM for that
Yeah.
campaign's over now. The one we
Yeah, it's
talked
like a
about.
mini four session.
We've only been in mini campaigns before. We've never
Pretty
actually
much.
been. In,
I've
like,
never
a
done like a
huge
full
story.
campaign.
Maybe like 2-day stories, if that. And you've been a DM for both the stories that I've been in. But yeah.
This campaign
Yeah.
was the first I've been in 3 campaigns now, but this is the first campaign I've been in that somebody actually died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
Me
player
too.
or
Stayed
a
dead.
player character actually died
Yeah, and stayed dead.
and stayed dead. Yeah.
In a heroic, kill me with the final thing.
Yeah, the best
As a
way to die
sacrifice,
in
yeah.
D&D, but it happened.
Entirely unnecessary.
Oh yeah.
It
could've-
had like 23 health left, and you had like
And-
4 people
And my
in
last
between.
attack did 50 damage.
Yeah, so like,
and
good story though. Good,
and like
good
2
moment.
people go there was 3 people to attack after. Oh,
Yeah.
actually, me being resurrected would have killed someone probably.
Mhm.
So I guess that was
That would have been and Willow was all blockaded.
No, that was
So really,
gone
it was
already.
down to kind of just me and Sad.
Yeah, yeah. Which the final interaction went. Just kill me with it. It'll be worth it. Can I have all your stuff if I do? I won't if you don't say yes. Really doubling down on being
Yeah.
the hero.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he wanted to die. He like when we started the campaign, he said my goal is
Did he?
to yeah. He
Did
did.
he
That was
really?
like 6 months
is
ago.
to have a heroic
Yeah.
death. So
That was a long
holy crap,
time
that
ago.
was a long time ago, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Wow,
that was
took
in
a while.
Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
We-
started that. Yeah, we started that like in like December, January
How did we do a 6-person campaign through
on
FaceTime?
Fate. That was awful.
Yeah, I'm doing that every
It went
Sunday night,
slow,
and it's
so
hard.
slow.
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't know how.
Especially
how you
at the
do it.
beginning when Kinsey and Corey were still learning. Like I get it, obviously, but it was so slow.
Yeah, with people that are even us, we were even trying to learn the game still, and it's hard to do.
Yeah,
yeah. There's a lot of rules,
Yeah.
there are a lot of rules.
and it's like the easiest edition too.
There was a time what was it 2 nights ago, where I just looked at my sheet and there's just so much information. I'm like, who made this game?
At a certain point, you just got to go with your instincts and be like, I can do this, right?
Yeah, like who made this game? Who brought up so many numbers and so many things that someone can do, and went through with it?
Couple guys in a garage.
Yeah, surprisingly,
Yeah, do that, please.
unsurprisingly, a guy named Gary Gygax.
That I've heard that name before. I knew
That's
that.
the guy.
I knew that. She can't hear you. She's deaf.
Oh.
She's like mostly deaf.
Mm.
You gotta like either yell or like make a loud sharp noise like clapping or something. That'll get her attention. Yeah, she saw
Anyway.
you though.
Anyway, you want to talk campaign?
Sure.
Yeah, we can go over that a little bit. We don't have anything planned.
So, sweet. When I sat down to write anything, to make it easier on myself, I basically asked myself like, what's a question I don't have an answer to? Then build a campaign around asking that question and forcing them to make a hard decision.
So
Okay.
what was that?
So
Yeah, what
I
was
got
that?
all I built like the school. So it's like a high school drama-esque
That's what made it
campaign is the for those who don't know.
Yeah.
And then you also made your characters, and of the 6 player characters, 5 were like actively focused or to some degree focused on like like nature and stuff like that.
I
Whether like the
understand.
druid or like
So that was on purpose?
even like the rogue was a scout, which is like the nature-y rogue.
Also,
character.
it's Caleb, so he won't even like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he seemed like he really wanted to kill some people, and that's what he was there for, which is great.
Which happened.
Yeah, and he sure did. And so I said, well, let's ask a question about nature. And we have in the world right now a very like fantasy style situation that we're in already, which is like how much of nature should our human progress overtake before we hit a wall where we shouldn't anymore. And now the public discourse is around like anything before it destroys the world is what the discourse is around, and it's all politically, emotionally charged and stuff. But that's the question that everyone's basically being told to ask themselves around the world. And I went to Australia recently, and everyone was talking about it, and I'm like, oh wow, this is like a very pervasive discussion.
Right.
So the question is like, it's like, well, you could say, eliminate all progress, let nature come back, and then we'll find a balance. But like lots and lots and lots of people will die if we do that. And so it's not an easy decision. Maybe that's the decision that he's made. Yeah. So there's all these walls, and I was like, okay, I'll just and these are like so theoretical, so like hardly measurable things. It's like, well, this seems like some sort of fantastical force that we're making deals with. It's like, well, that's strange that this is the world that we're all just living in. It's very fantasy-like. So that's what I built. And then I started like pulling out like terms that have meant stuff like the east wind blows. That's in a bunch of stuff that I watch, and that's in like the Book of Job and the Bible, and that's in the Sherlock BBC Cumberbatch thing. He talks about it. Yeah. So it's like, oh, that's interesting. And then there needed to be two forces, and then I just took it to a Me Without You lyric, and then it all built itself.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did we ever answer that question?
Which question?
Yeah, you did the.
Which would we choose?
Nature versus progress.
So
and where do we lie on that?
Okay.
We kind of did both.
Yeah, I to make it easier, because it's a hard to understand in a real life thing, let alone like I should have simplified it a little bit more.
That's probably why I asked.
Yeah, so I made a like objectively evil force called negative human consciousness, which is a virus that's destroying the world.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, you can call that sin, or you can call that like a consuming pride or something that's like it doesn't matter. I'm just and that's like the final thing you thought. It's like I am a representation of like what nature does to this world, which is take and consume and kill indiscriminately, but the human version of that, which is there's a human force in this world that takes and kills indiscriminately. It's like, okay, that's the enemy in this.
Yeah.
If we all made the decision to be conscious just with our common sense about every single thing that we do, then everything would be fine in the balance, but no one does that. So because we're all divorced and it's very, very hard to do. It's like, well, if we were able to take all that, ball it up, and destroy it, then the problem would fix itself. So I balled it up and handed it to you, and we needed to finish that night. So you have to have something like that
real quick.
Yeah. I saw what it could have been if we just kept going.
Yeah, if it was like a full length campaign, I could see what it could turn into.
Like releasing the nature itself.
That would have been fun. That would have been a fun decision.
So much fun.
Yeah.
I saw us doing that in our mini campaign, without Kinsey and Corey.
These sleeves are too long for this jersey.
I just noticed that.
Yeah,
Nice,
I like
dude.
it.
That's the content people come here for.
My sleeves are too long for my jersey.
Hey, listener, get in the comments. Tell me what you think about his sleeves in
What
regards
sleeve?
to length and jersey length.
What sleeves?
Anyway,
This is cran grape juice.
if you could do it all again, what would you do? What decision would you make?
I'd probably make I'd probably go with the Southwest Wind and release that into civilization and kill everybody.
Southwest Wind is the force of the conceptual force of nature that would come and destroy us all if we weren't holding it back.
But yeah, the progress was holding it back and it was building up. So if I destroyed it, it would come and kill everybody.
I would have dropped out of school.
In real life or in the game?
In the game, I would have. I don't know. Releasing the Southwest one would have been real fun, I think.
Anyway, yeah, it was
getting a girlfriend.
Getting a girlfriend.
Only things that can happen in fantasy.
Basically did.
Yeah, it didn't pan out in the last episode though because we didn't have time. We didn't have time. It's understandable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd continue in that world. I do like day 3 and 4 of the high school.
Yeah, it all happened in like a 24 to 36 hour
2
period.
days.
Yeah.
And everything happened.
Yeah.
I would also roll just a little bit better and kill Poot Disaster.
Oh man,
Wasn't he 1 HP away from
He
dying?
had 1 HP
and he
left.
killed me before I killed him.
That was
it
good.
was so upsetting.
That was good. That was fun
so
to
upsetting.
watch.
Uh-huh.
That was fun to watch. You voicing Poot Disaster while he's trying to...
Yeah, it was built to be a campaign that's like teaching people how to do it, get a bunch of people together, and like create a story, which happened pretty well.
Yeah.
I would have, if it was just like 3 people or 4 people and we were like sitting down and doing it, I would definitely have made that arc a 3-level arc. You'd level up 3 times in it, and you would go and like have different interactions and flesh it out more. But
I'd still have yet to play a campaign where I actually level up and keep going with the character.
Yeah.
But that takes way too long.
Yeah, it's hard, especially when at this stage in our lives when we're all moving around a lot. It's rough.
Yeah.
Like I'm leaving in 2 months again, probably.
Oh, by the way, I might be staying here. It's almost definite that Biola is going to have online classes, and you can either and you can't go on campus. So
That's a
I'm
bummer.
probably staying here, which sucks.
Yeah, that is a bummer.
Yeah. I actually do like the dorm life. I know it gets made fun of a lot, but I really do like it, and I was really excited to do another year of that, but it sucks too. But yeah, so I might be staying here too.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
It happens. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's happening with my school right now. Right now, they're still saying that I'm supposed to start in December or
good.
September, but who knows? Things could change at any minute.
But also, how do you do food college?
Online, exactly. If they want us to do online, I'm probably just gonna defer again to like January because that's the next start date. So I'd probably defer again until that'll be 2.5 years of me not being in school.
Yep.
How long has it been so far?
Wait, hold on. Maybe
a year and a half.
Year and a half, not 2.5 years. A year and a half of me not being in school because the last time I was in school was June of 2019.
Yep.
So yeah, a year and a half.
If you get deferred again.
If I defer it again, yeah.
I probably won't take a gap year because I don't see myself doing that. I probably wouldn't do it through Biola because
That's a good call.
Yeah, that's probably smart.
Just because I don't see myself doing that. I do need to take more Bible classes though, just to get those out of the way. So I might have to anyway because I don't have enough gen eds left to actually do a full term with it. But I don't know. We'll see. It's gonna suck either way. So we'll see what that happens. Yeah.
This isn't good podcast content, but check out Grand Canyon University. It's an online Christian school that
that's where my
I
dad
did all
got
my
his master's.
gen eds online over the summer there.
Those are transferable?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, everyone at Biola does that, and it's like $50 a class or something stupid like that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's not that cheap, but I'm sure they have.
It's cheaper.
You can ask Kinsey when she comes on for this. She did it, and I think she took a Bible class there.
Okay, cool.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll see.
Yeah, that's where my dad got
Cut all that out.
That's where my dad got his master's online.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
This is a sponsor
He
for
did
Grand
GCU.
Canyon University if you go to Biola.
Yeah.
They told me if I plugged them, they would give me a couple free classes.
Oh, there you go.
So,
What do you in what? What are you taking classes in?
real estate development.
Really?
No, but I do need. I need those classes if I want to get a real estate license.
Is that what you're trying to do?
Is that the goal?
Yeah, who knows?
You know,
Maybe.
you don't
There's
know?
a lot of fun things that they give all the dreams, you know.
Yeah. What about coffee business? You still
What's the
thinking
dream
about
for
that?
you?
Opening my own restaurant.
Nice.
But
Well,
that's a years down the line.
yeah. Well,
I'm
I'm years down the line for you, and make the decision now that you know what the dream is a very helpful developmental tool.
Yeah, my goal right now, my short-term goal is working at like a high-end restaurant for a while and moving up the ranks in that.
Nice.
And then eventually opening up my own restaurant. It's going to take a while to get to that level.
Yep.
So, it's going to be a while till I open my own restaurant, but I'm okay with that. Right now I just need to learn the things and then work in a place that does the things. Yeah.
I had a
That's
friend on Orcus that used to work in a restaurant doing just like busboy stuff, I think, and the cook was terrible to everyone. And I was like, oh man, he told me about what he did the day that he quit. And I was like, wow, that guy. And he's like, yeah, but he lives in Portland and he's a high-end chef, so he's making 6 figures a year.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was like, Noah should do that. Hey, Noah, go make 6 figures a year.
And be
I'm
careful
going to
with people.
try to do that. That would be super cool. I've also heard a lot of chefs are terrible to people. So that's a
That's
running
because
theme.
they're super stressed and they actually don't
It's very
like themselves.
stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also I have to get all tatted up because all the big chefs have a lot of tats.
Is that true?
So, yeah, actually, a lot of chefs have tats. That's a big thing.
Put it in the to-do list.
You should get all the memento tattoos.
I was at...
You wake up every
Let's do it.
morning and read them all.
I haven't seen that movie in a very long
It's
time.
a great movie.
I love that movie.
I've seen it once, and it was like 5 years ago.
One day, I saw it on
Maybe 3
Netflix.
years ago.
I was like scrolling through Netflix while my dad was like trying to was getting ready for work, and I asked him, "Dad, have you seen Memento?" Because because he's seen it before. Because I was like scrolling through Netflix and I saw it, and he's like, "Yeah, have you not seen it before?" And I said, "Yeah, what's it about?" He's like, "Just watch it," and then he like leaves the door, like shuts the door, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'll just watch it right now." And then I clicked on it, didn't know anything about it, loved it. I think that's one of those movies where you shouldn't know anything about it.
I
until you
watched
watch
it probably 3 years ago because you talked about it a lot, and you said you loved it, so I was like, I'll check it out.
Mhm.
It was pretty good. It's Guy Ritchie, right?
Guy Pearce.
Not Guy Ritchie. Guy Pearce is what I meant to say.
Yeah,
Not
it's a
Guy
good
Ritchie.
movie. Go watch it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I haven't seen it in a while. I should watch it again.
Who directed it again? Do you know?
Christopher Nolan.
It is.
Okay,
Yeah, it is
a
a Christopher Nolan. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Christopher Nolan, do you guys know what Tenet? Anything
What
about Tenet?
I know what it is. Yeah.
Everybody but Christopher Nolan's new movie. Everybody but Christopher Nolan said Christopher Nolan, we need to push this back, but he's like, no, at the end of July this is going in theaters. So let's see how that goes.
What if theaters don't open?
That's
Maybe he'll just
They're going to
release
be
it.
playing
part of the problem.
Oh, they're just gonna be playing in an empty theater.
One person's allowed in.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it looks. I mean, it looks fun.
Couple
It looks
grand.
good.
It's
It's
confusing.
It's Inception with time travel. That's
That's a terrible premise.
I'm pretty sure
I'm
that's.
lost on the premise.
Yep.
It
Have you
looks
seen the trailer
interesting.
before?
Do you? No, I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
Oh, it's
I hadn't
in-
heard about. I heard his name was in like the news and stuff,
Okay.
but I don't.
It's gonna be another Inception.
Do you guys remember when Inception came out?
No.
I was in
When
high
it
school.
when it came out, no. But
I was 8 years old.
We were alive. I just don't vividly remember it.
I think.
I don't know how much different this is. I'm not that much older than you, but stuff coming out was like a big deal because that's the only way you get like content. So when I was in high school, The Office was coming out, and then like I had 2 people that I know who also watched The Office. So every like Friday we'd come back to school and be like, "You see The Office last night?" Like we talked about
Nice.
it, which is a pretty cool experience.
Yeah.
Except
Yeah.
for you don't get to binge watch anything. Everyone talked about Inception for about a month nonstop when it came
Yikes!
out,
I'm sorry.
and all anyone was trying to do was say, "Did you get it?" No one gets it, and then no one got it.
I got
And
it.
for a month, not a single person had
It's-
a conclusive interpretation of it.
I think that got blown up by people saying that over and over again.
Especially
It's really not that.
Since the internet exists,
It's really not that hard to Oh, hold on. I don't know when that one.
Uh-oh.
We'll see.
Who cares? Inception, number 8 of all Christopher Nolan movies.
is that number 8?
I don't know them well enough.
Like
I don't even know if he has 8. Dark Knight trilogy in order.
3.
Best 1, 2, 3. Best to worst. Worst is the first one, obviously.
Oh, worst is the first one. Rises, Begins, Dark Knight.
You think Dark
Worst
Knight's the
to
worst?
Best. No, you said worst is.
He's the best of worst.
Oh,
So
no.
it would be
I
Dark
said-
Knight Rises.
Okay, it's wait. What?
Sorry.
Okay,
What
so
are they? I forgot the names.
Okay, we're going down the list.
Okay.
Top is best. Dark Knight is the best.
Okay.
That's the-
Batman Begins is the second best.
Begins is okay.
That's
Rises
the
is the worst, but it's still good.
I've gotten a lot of crap for this in my life. Rise is number 1.
Okay.
Dark Knight Begins.
That's
Why would you
honestly
say that?
fair.
What
I was
makes,
thinking-
what makes
Okay, I haven't
Rises-
seen any of these in
Yeah.
since they came
since
out.
2013,
Okay.
2014. And it's 2020. I've been out of college for a long time, you guys. Like, I graduated 2014.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah, dude.
I really nailed it. I got a grad party, so
Nice.
sorry for those who didn't. I can't remember which Shakespeare play it was, but Dark Knight Rises is just a copy paste of a Shakespeare play, which
Okay.
usually makes for a good story. Shakespeare, the king of all words, just the freaking best. Shakespeare's the best writer out there.
Yes,
and
I agree.
I'll die on that.
Okay.
Which as a stepping stone for the next conversation. As far as immediately not sold on a premise, as Christopher Nolan's Inception with time travel is almost never done well. Immediately sold on a premise, and I don't care about the rest. V for Vendetta. What
for Vendetta.
a freaking phenomenal premise, and carried it out
V
well.
for Vendetta is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Same.
I watch it every November 5th.
You
Same.
you talk about it at least 3 times every November.
Yeah, I watch it every 5th of November.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad.
Dark Knight Rises. I like the concepts it was dealing with better. I don't connect so personally on the some people just want to watch the world burn character, just like embodiment of chaos and stuff. The ways that I agree with him are too concrete for me.
Okay.
I think the Joker knocks it out of the park philosophically in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say that. It's.
Wait.
I think Christopher Nolan. I think
Are
Christopher.
you talking about the Dark Knight with the Joker in it?
Yes.
That's the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Rises is Bane.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay,
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm saying
I
okay,
thought
Bane
you-
is a worse villain than
Yes.
Yes.
the Joker.
Yes.
The Joker was a great villain.
Heath Ledger's Joker is why Dark Knight is the best
Yeah.
for me.
And no, that's the reason for sure. I agree 100%. The reason to like Dark Knight is Heath Ledger at the Joker.
Yeah.
That whole situation.
Yeah.
The reason that Dark Knight Rises gets bumped above, even with the worst villain, is that I think that the Joker was right, and then also evil.
Okay, got it.
I think that like to embrace chaos as a good is just true, but to embrace chaos at the expense of good
Yeah.
is bad. And I think it's written to just be like, oh, you're supposed to be like torn between these two, but my just belief structure makes that a very black and white choice where
Yeah.
it's just like his like 4-dimensional character becomes a 3-dimensional character
Okay.
because of the way that I just
It-
see the world.
I think it's hard to write chaos and try to make sense out of it, and he did it very well. I think
That's
that's
true.
That's
Yeah.
why I
Yeah.
love Dark Knight so well,
Mhm.
is because he makes chaos kind of make sense, even if it's in the expense of good.
It's very true.
And that's why I like it. I need to re-watch Rises because, to
I
be
don't know.
honest, I don't remember much of it.
Rises and Begins are very close for me, and I can't actually remember why I put Begins above Rises. I would have to
Now let's
watch
rewatch
them
'em.
again. It's been a while since I've watched them.
Yep. But yeah, I watched Rises like a year ago.
I watched
Not
Rises like
Dark Knight.
No,
a year
sorry,
ago.
I watched Begins like 3 months ago, but I need to watch Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises again to
Yeah.
actually compare them.
also falling into darkness and despair and taking on an enormous amount of pain to rise out of it into light. Phenomenal.
Wait,
I love that.
Wait,
Yeah,
there
I
was
love that.
symbolism in that movie?
No,
Oh,
I just like big tits. Big tits are cool.
Big picture cool. Yeah, that's why Batman is one of my. That's why superheroes are super popular.
yeah.
Because they all had suffered immensely and turned out to be the most good in that perspective.
Yeah.
Of whoever's writing it.
I did like. It's very not comics, but I did like Tom Hardy as Bane. It's a very not comics Bane, but
Forgot he was.
he
I
plays
forgot that
it
was
well.
Tom Hardy.
I don't know names of people.
Yeah.
Bane is the bad guy.
Tom Hardy is
Tom
also-
Hardy is who I don't know who it
Tom
is. I know
Hardy
who
is the
Bane
guy
is.
that
He
plays
was
him.
Venom.
He was also Venom.
That,
In Venom?
In Venom, yeah.
The titular Venom?
in Venom.
The titular Venom.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw
Which,
it. Maybe
Spider-Man,
once,
my favorite superhero. Venom, probably my favorite villain,
Mm-hmm.
but
but the movie terrible.
seems so clearly like
not
they
a
were.
good movie.
Yeah, they botched it, so I just didn't watch
They
it.
botched it in Spider-Man 3 as well. So like,
in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3.
That is Spider-Man 3 is the Joker. It's like beautiful display of chaos unrestrained.
Okay. Sure.
It's like they had Spider-Man 1 with Tobey Maguire, great. Spider-Man 2, good. It's like you set it up for an actually good trilogy here, and they're just like, what if we decided to make it bad to make a point? It's like, wonderful writers room. You're doing a great job as American writers.
There's no way that was actually the goal there.
But it doesn't matter if it was the goal or not. They did it.
That's a good
Well, guess
point.
what?
Maybe it does. I in this moment I don't feel like it.
Sam Raimi, the director of this original Spider-Man trilogy, is coming to the MCU. He's directing the next Doctor Strange movie, so this will be interesting.
Yeah. Did you know that?
They changed. It was supposed to be somebody else.
I didn't listen to a single word of that sentence. I was thinking about something else.
Sam Raimi, who directed the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy, is
American
directing the next Doctor Strange movie, which is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
That's the other Cumberbatch.
Yes.
Okay.
It was
I like
supposed
Doctor
to be
Strange.
somebody else, but they changed it, and now it's Sam Raimi. So yeah.
Yeah, I said Doctor
be
Strange is
interesting.
in my top 5 for Marvel movies, and both Jack and Noah yelled at me.
I don't
so,
think it doesn't deserve top 5. It deserves top 10.
Whatever.
Anyway,
I have questions that are Scott related.
Okay, let's do that.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Did
Questions?
someone ask me a question specifically?
Yes, actually, only one person did.
Oh.
It was Emily. She
Emily
said, Emily Sada.
Okay.
Yep. She says, "Why does Scott feel like it's necessary to create a hostile environment?"
Just chaos
Because.
leads to growth.
Are you not listening?
Yeah.
Emily.
Yeah.
Think ahead.
Yeah. You
What'd you
can't.
say?
She said,
Okay.
"Why is it necessary
No,
to
what
create a
did you
hostile
just-
environment?"
So-
Never mind.
You want to really answer this?
Yeah.
This is a story that happened to me like last month.
Okay.
I've been trying to write like stories for real for the first time ever. That's what D&D was a stepping stone for me to do. So I'm like writing these stories, and part of that is I'm reading like story structure stuff, which is very interesting. Truby's Anatomy of Story book is what I was reading. It's great, and I was like taking notes on like his like this is how you create a story structure. And I was like Joseph Campbell, obviously the hero's journey, Jungian psychology stuff, big fan, love it all. And I was writing his, and I was like, well, I want to write the stories that are like the stories coming from me. And I understand this stuff. I should just write my own story structure. And it was all already in my head. So in the middle of that book, I put it aside and wrote my story structure out. But by the way, Truby, famous for like his story structure being used. This is what made me actually read it. Used in Sleepless in Seattle, something else, and Shrek.
Yes.
And
I know 2 of those movies.
The Shrek is the strangest cultural phenomenon, like of all time, story wise for me. So I'm like, this is really interesting. I'm gonna take a look at this, and so I wrote down my story structure, and finished, set back, and then looked at it, and I was like, well, this is something that's been implicit in my life forever. I've been abiding by this story structure, but calling it religion the entire time.
Yeah.
Is this life? Is this all there is to existence itself? Is all there is in this world Shrek? 2? Is that life? And the answer is yes, that's what life is.
Cool.
Shrek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there can't be a story. The problem with story is that story starts as soon as you have a problem or a weakness or a moral, like, an unfulfilled moral facet as a person. That's the moment you enter story. And the first quarter of the story is you suffer until you're able to accept love. And so you need a hostile environment. Because God created the structures of this world to be hostile, Emily.
Same thing.
And I must abide by what God has given me.
Is that your goal?
So-
Is that your role in life, to be the to be the catalyst of the first quarter of a story?
Part of being a youth leader in the evangelical American church is to be an accurate representation of what life is to others.
So yes.
But
So it's because Scott thinks
But
he's
that
still
sucks.
in the first
that's,
quarter
but don't
of the
be
story.
that person. So
Okay.
yeah.
It's because we're still in the first quarter of Scott's story. So
Yeah.
that's why.
Also, and I'm gonna give you something here, Emily. I'm just gonna give this to you. I accidentally called you enemy, and so there's obviously more than what I just said to what's going on here.
Accidentally.
You got me on this one. You absolutely
It
got
becomes
me.
personal at that point.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you want to do a Kinsey question or a challenge that Emily has bestowed on us?
I feel so ready to reject this challenge.
Okay.
So let's do that.
Emily wants to do how long can you hold your breath for, and the winner gets Venmo $2. Is that content?
From her?
Yeah. From
You
her.
won't even know until next Friday. First of all.
That's fine.
And
we'll be
second of
with
all,
I'm willing to cheat, so.
yeah, me too.
So that's going to be a
So
very
if we
boring 6 minutes of us trying to breathe as subtly as possible.
I haven't breathed.
So
I reject the challenge.
Yeah.
next-
I'll judge for you if you want.
Is it content? Yes. Is it good content? Probably not.
Who-
So
I'll tell you what, we'll do it after and text you who won.
yeah, that's actually probably a better idea.
No.
Text them.
I was gonna text her. Yeah, I won. You
won.
had the more
I was
accessible.
quicker.
You deserve it because
So
you
I
thought
won.
of it a half a second.
Okay,
Yeah,
hold
yeah,
on.
go
Just text her right now.
Text her.
Okay. What's the other question as he's doing that?
Kinsey asks if you had to have the head of an animal, what animal would you choose?
Eagle.
My immediate thought was elephant, but that's a bad answer.
My
That's a
immediate.
Like the
answer.
trunk, grabby.
Does it
nose.
have to be? I mean,
Yeah.
it's proportioned to your body, right?
Can I say a more attractive man?
That's
No, let's say
Man,
not
not
a
animal?
Homo
Man,
sapien.
not
no,
animal?
No, I was gonna say let's say a different animal.
Let's
Okay.
say
I
not a
think
Homo
man is an
sapien.
animal.
AJ Bogle is what I would say, but that's not on the table, so.
I reject that answer.
Okay.
I-
The wording was if you had to have the head of an animal?
if you had to.
Okay.
Emily, you just got fooled. She just said she's about to Venmo me $2.
Ah, let's go. Poor
Wow, it
Emily.
worked really well.
Anyway.
This is going to be a lot of fodder for her to imply a hostile environment is my fault. But he acted first.
I did go first. Yeah, check the time. If it's like proportioned to your body, an eagle. That's what I would say.
Yeah,
Yep, I
You
just
get
got
like
Venmoed.
super good sight.
I just
if you
got
had eagle.
Venmoed $2.
yeah. You get the
And
the
they can
properties.
smell well,
If
don't
I
they?
had shark head, could I breathe underwater?
Yeah,
But you couldn't
But I
breathe
had
on
to
land.
be moving.
Then you have to be.
Well, I got
moving.
human lungs still. The lungs stay the same. So the whole system.
But
the-
you have the gills.
The gills turn water into oxygen.
But you also have the lungs.
No.
But you also.
Don't embarrass me in front of the internet.
sorry. You're right.
So I suppose so. Let's go with yes for fun. Breathe
Uh,
underwater and on land.
Bottlenose dolphin head. No, they breathe normal. Oh, I ruined it.
Well, that's
Shark
it.
head.
Sharkhead.
Shark
Okay.
head.
Okay.
That's a good answer.
I'd eat so ferociously.
I'd say like a lion.
I'd have to eat like this though.
Have you guys seen that like 8-year-old
Yes,
video?
everyone has. Well,
how animals eat their food.
most people.
For a week,
have.
it was the funniest thing
It
in
was
the world.
for a week. It was like middle school. It was the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, it's just two people, and they go over how animals eat their food in a funny
And
way.
it's stuff like
You guys are
that.
19?
20.
20?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like
I'm 8 years older than you, which
6 years
means
ago.
when you were in junior high, I was in college.
So you
When we got into high school, you
You might have.
graduated.
You might have seen it.
college.
Yes. Okay.
Did that make sense?
Yep.
Cool.
That
What are we at?
makes all the sense.
We're
in
at
the world.
45 minutes.
Oh, okay.
It's going by quick.
I have actually really
It
good
usually
questions.
does. You'd be
Um,
surprised.
Mhm.
Let's see.
Thursday went by so fast. I think it was because I was very tired, and other things like more tired than like this whole week. I've been dead tired. I fell asleep so fast and so early yesterday, and I slept in until like 11 today, which
Good
is
for you,
weird
man.
for me.
It's bad for you, but good.
I've
for you.
been so dead this week.
Nice.
Ask your next question.
Okay, man.
Yeah. No one tell Emily that we cheated until this video comes out.
Oh,
no,
no,
of
100%
course
not.
not.
No.
We'll be seeing her.
No,
She's
it
going
won't.
to Shasta with us. We'll be seeing her this
Yeah.
entire week. So
In case to reinforce this lie, how long did you hold your breath?
Oh yeah. That's a good question.
I mean, what's a normal amount?
What's like the average amount?
An
Over a minute.
over a minute.
I'd
So,
say 2 minutes.
How long did you guys hold your breath?
I hold
I
my
didn't
breath
count.
for 5 minutes, and you're so impressive.
A minute.
The lie
and-
doesn't matter. She's gonna find out immediately we're lying.
Yeah.
A minute 53.
Okay.
Okay. There you go.
Cut that out.
Maybe just so she never finds
Just
out.
cut that out.
Okay.
Cut out the entire all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just don't even address it in the video.
Yeah, just move on completely. We're going from.
Next question. Tim asks if smart cars have to choose between hitting one person or another in an emergency, is it ethical to program a value of one person over another? which is pretty much just a different outcome of the trolley problem.
It's just the trolley problem.
That can be universally settled on.
This feels
Like
like
a real
more
life-
like a Nazi problem.
Or that.
It's like,
Nazi problem?
yeah, how do you can you? What are the parameters
What
by
do you
which
teach a machine?
Yeah, that you quantify value.
Yeah.
I think the only way you could do it is if the choice is between hitting one person and hitting another. The only way you can do it, like, morally, is just don't change course. Do what you were already
Approximate
going
age,
to do.
and if they're children, but then like short people.
But that's still no. I mean, exactly. That's still
It's going their way
discriminating
to hit,
against
like,
someone. If you
7
say
foot tall
if the
people.
choice is two people, we're just going to tell the car to do whatever it was already going to do. We're not going to make it change at all because then you're not programming it to choose one over the other.
Well, not the actual answer, but like a good answer would be try to deviate the car so the car hurts itself and the person inside. Because I think that would be better than
Well, you clearly said the choice is one person or another. There's no other
So
choice
there's no
here.
other choice here?
That's what I heard.
Okay.
What
So
do you
if
think?
you had to choose, that's right.
Have you been listening?
Yeah, well, he didn't ask which one should it do. He said, is it ethical to program a value system for technology?
Yeah.
To which I would answer, no.
Okay.
Not because there isn't
That's what I'm
a
saying.
value system, potentially. I don't know enough to say that.
I don't
But
think anybody
when you
will.
put it in the hands of whoever is developing your car technology, you get into the territory of, like, one person speaking for all about the value of individuals, and that's
Yeah.
definitely across the line.
Yes.
So, I don't know.
So the answer is no.
So the answer is don't program it to choose.
Yeah, because you can't. Yeah.
Do you have any
Trolley
other
problem
questions?
sucks. What?
It's not great. Do you have any questions?
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, that's not entirely the trolley problem. Trolley problem's a little different, but
Robin asks, does sacrificing and suffering always make people better? Always make better people than those who don't endure as much or don't endure such?
No,
Why?
clearly not.
can you say that again? I
Yeah, sorry.
genuinely wasn't listening.
Does sacrifice and suffering always make better people than those who do not endure such?
No.
Why?
Because sometimes it makes worse people.
Yeah, because if you just are like, I'm gonna take in as much suffering as possible because I value suffering. Like, all suffering can be turned into love, but it won't necessarily be turned into love. It can turn into hatred.
It can turn into hatred, yeah. And some people are just, to address the people that haven't gone through suffering, some people are just already good and some people are just already bad, but going through suffering
There are too many
isn't going to make you
variables
inherently
to
good.
only give suffering and sacrifice the
There's not one outcome.
the outcome of a good person.
There's this a book I was reading not too long ago by Virginia Woolf, which is
I've heard that name before.
So
Virginia
have I.
Woolf is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. She wrote a speech for like Women in Literature conference,
Okay.
like quite a while ago, and this was when she talked about her path of like her day as she was writing it, where she tried to go to the library and they wouldn't let her in because women aren't allowed in libraries at the
Okay.
time without a man or without like a reference.
Yeah.
So she had to like go do something else. But in it, she talked about she was at like a dinner party and they were serving prunes, and she had this side comment completely not related to anything where it said prunes look like the kind of people who are old misers that in their life have never allowed themselves to feel like warmth and have like kept themselves cold their entire life and never given themselves like any pleasure. And I thought it was a really interesting like commentary on like, yeah, people who don't allow themselves to feel joy become joyless people.
Yeah.
And I worked with a person who did that the last 2 years, and now is trying to like rip everyone's lives to pieces because their life they never allowed themselves to redeem the suffering they went through, and it was very, very sad.
The person that doesn't allow joy for other people either.
I mean, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
So she looked at
Yeah.
prunes and then said that.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah. She's amazing. Yeah. She's there was
Imagine
I was
being that profound.
a person that I lived with out there.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about cool story ideas, and it's north. That's north.
Is it?
Don't look it up.
Okay.
Well, the sun
I
is
know,
right there.
They
That's a fan.
and we were talking about like cool premises, and V for Vendetta was brought up, and I was like, how cool would it be if we created a dystopian like patriarchal society, and then the totally justified like hero came in, and instead of quoting Shakespeare and stabbing people, they quoted Virginia Woolf and stabbed people. And we looked up Virginia Woolf quotes, and it would have been really funny to say right before stabbing people. Go.
What would be an example?
You look like a prune. Stab, stab, stab. I don't know. I'll tell you. I'll tell you in a second.
You
but
look like a prune.
Shout out to
Stab.
Shelby. Yeah. Wolf quotes. Okay. You're in a patriarchal society, and someone with a mask of something that's not Guy Fawkes comes up and says,
Guy Pearce.
"As a woman, I have no country. As a woman, my country is the whole world." What?
Guy Pearce walks
You
up, says
as a
that, and
man.
stabs you.
Stab. Wait, what?
She goes and sneaks into someone's house that just sits around and plays video games all the time. Says, "You cannot find peace by avoiding life.
Stab.
Yeah.
That's good.
Life
that's
will
good.
avoid you." Stab.
That's good stuff.
Anyway, Virginia Woolf, she's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, genius author. Any other questions?
If you had to eat one item from nature, for example, like bark from trees, dirt, etc., what would it be? If you had to.
Fruit.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well,
fruit,
yeah, most
water.
food, most like plants, yeah.
I'm guessing inedible stuff.
Most plants were natural.
A lot of times I see a really good looking leaf and I'm like, that looks delicious. I think that all the time, and you only got to make the mistake once, and you know that's not a delicious leaf.
So
you've done it before.
are we saying?
So of course.
Okay, cool.
Are we saying that we can eat these things?
What do you mean?
Like, is he asked? Like,
No, it's like you right now. Go do it. I think.
if it was actually
Yeah.
me, it would probably be like bark. I feel like some bark would have a good
I'd
like
say some leaves off of
like
bushes. And
cracker type
trees.
crunch.
Just
to
suck
it.
on some bark.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say that. Bark Zuckerberg.
That's the reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
D&D character.
D&D.
Yeah.
That's all the questions I have.
Yeah. All right. I had something and it's gone.
I have a.
Anyway.
Are we
Go
done
ahead.
or
No.
What
Okay.
time is? Or what? How
Like 50
long do we
minutes.
go? How long we go?
So I would like to point out both times we met Scott, which are both funny stories.
I don't know what he's talking about.
I'm pretty nervous though.
Go ahead.
I'll go
What
first.
do you mean met Scott?
What?
Is it now?
What do you mean?
No.
Okay.
What do you mean met Scott?
Like the first time we met Scott.
Oh gosh, you're gonna go the first time we met and the first time we met,
yeah.
which is gonna be drugs and church.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
well,
money laundering.
Through drugs.
Through drugs.
Through church.
Through money laundering, drug money through church.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was.
Guess who didn't like you telling that story in front of the whole church?
Did I?
Most of the church.
Did I tell that?
Yeah.
story?
My last day of church.
Yeah. You said that. Yeah.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did in front of everyone.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Scott's last
Yeah,
say.
and you said it doesn't matter anymore. You can't do anything to him or something like that. Yeah.
What?
Uh-huh.
Scott's last day, you're
man.
the first student to go up, and then you said,
I thought I said
since
something
Scott's
genuine.
leaving the church, I get to
It
tell the
felt
story.
genuine in the moment. You were like, "This is why I stayed at this church."
I thought that was like, oh man. I thought I said something like actually nice.
I mean, you did that too, I'm sure.
Oh, okay.
I was very, very sick.
I don't remember
Were you?
saying any
I was
of that.
dead sick.
I don't remember you being sick.
I drank like half of a bottle of Dayquil to get through that morning because yeah,
You spoke that morning, too.
Mhm.
Wow.
a lot of Dayquil.
Dang.
Yeah, and caffeine.
I actually.
Yeah, you did, right?
I
Isn't
got
that funny?
up and said
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Wow.
And I looked at the crowd, and it was like, this group right here, they're not gonna like this. It was an economics. So the story, if you don't know, is that he went to an event. It was like a thing, and it was overnight at church after broom ball. And I was like, drug deals happen up in that church parking lot. That's why we're not gonna go hang out up there right now. It doesn't happen like. Well, it happened kind of a ton. They replaced the lights. It's not as easy to do anymore. But you started asking questions, and I was like, I know about economics and stuff.
I can
and
answer these questions
yeah.
about-
And then so we just talked about just like how you embezzle money, how you launder money, how when you get money from drugs, you need to do that, and then we're in a business because the church is a business, and it's like it wouldn't work very well at a church because of these reasons.
Initially,
And you seemed interested the entire time,
I was.
so I was like, this isn't This is a morally wrong conversation to have.
Initially, you said a church would be good, and then you thought about it, and you're like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Never mind. Don't. That's not a good idea.
And then it became an actual economic conversation. It was
But
actually
yeah.
very
I'm enlightening the minds of the youth.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I decided
I said it would
to
be
stay
a
there
good
forever.
one would be a restaurant, and then anyway, here we are.
Yeah.
And now I'm being
And
a chef. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I do have one more question.
What was the first time you met Scott?
Oh,
Was that This Is a Bible Camp?
This is a great. Yeah, that's the great.
yeah. So Jack Freese.
situation.
I moved to California in 2012. I was 12 years old. I was in 7th grade. I met Jack Freese in 7th grade, and then at the end of that year, he invited me to a camp, and I didn't really know much about church, and all he said to me was that it was a summer camp. So I said yeah, because I didn't have any friends. He was my only friend. So we get to a parking lot, and then everyone's like packing up, and everyone forms a circle, and then they started praying, and I'm like,
what a culty move if you're not used to it.
It was intense. I wasn't scared because I don't know, it just wasn't. So I was like, I look around and it says Grace Community Church. So I was like, oh, okay, that's fine, I guess. I guess. And then everyone's like, okay, everyone's got your Bibles, your clothes, everything. And I'm like, good. I'm like, no. And then we drive up there and everyone's worshiping and everyone is doing stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm at a church camp. And then I stayed there ever since.
And then you never left.
Never left, which is the goal.
Yeah.
That's how I met you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that broomball night. It wasn't great for me.
What do you mean?
Some of it was good, but I ended up hurting my foot or something, and then you threw a deck of cards, and one of them cut my eye.
Ooh.
Yeah. You threw a deck of cards at my face.
Huh.
Like, intentionally at my face. One of them cut my eye.
We've known each other for like 2 weeks.
I hurt... At that point, yeah, we knew each other very little. And then I, hurt my
Why
foot or something.
didn't you have any other friends other than Jack at the
And
time?
I was very tired.
7th grade?
Yeah. Kept throwing cards at people's
No,
faces.
Yeah.
that was sophomore year, bud.
No, we're talking about
Oh, right.
Oh,
yeah. That was
when,
junior high.
when you guys
Yeah.
met. Yeah. Junior high, Jack and I played the same video games, and that's why we stopped talking.
I didn't like my old church, and I started being friends with them sophomore year, so I started going to Grace.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jack invited me to broomball, and I liked it, and then went to youth convention, and I liked that, and then later that year I started going to Grace permanently. Yeah.
I don't really remember the specifics like that. But
Yeah, and then when we left, Grace died. So
it's true. We were the final.
well,
pedestals.
youth group died.
Yeah, that was Grace. Not to top for Grace, sorry.
Mm.
But yeah, I did go once this summer. It's pretty cool.
Don't put me in this position right now.
I'm not. I'm just.
But you
Have
are.
Have you been? Since, like, when was the last time you went to Grace?
Oh, well, I don't know. Before I left for Washington.
while,
yeah.
Yeah, I haven't gone since the last youth group.
Mm-hmm. I do have one more question before we end things off.
No, that's interesting.
Yeah. If someone were to come on your podcast and wanted to get you kicked off and take your place, where are you most vulnerable to sabotage?
Oh, to answer your question, why don't you answer that?
Yeah. No, do you have a... Was that the 30-minute mark?
Yeah.
Why is it turning off?
No, I set it for 29 on accident, so we have like 30 seconds until it stops.
Do you want to answer the question? Or?
Well, really, all you have to do is come in and be funnier than us once, and that's how Jerry got the position. He beat you out in 10 seconds.
Yeah,
Who's Jerry?
He was another guest.
Oh.
Yeah.
You don't know him.
You either are funnier than us. Let's see. Kick out, take your place. You forcefully do it, which is pretty easy.
Anyway, that's all of our questions. So,
that's how you would probably kick somebody out of our podcast.
great.
And
You
I
play
think-
any video games this week?
I play some video games. We're
Me
the
too.
video game guys. That's
totally.
what we talk about on our podcast.
I'm likable and not a villain anymore. I've overcome that status.
Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 We're fine with that.
Okay.
I'm likable sometimes, and always the hero.
All right.